Here are my 2021 rookie QB rankings walking into the final days heading into the NFL draft. I spent like 3 hours last night rewatching all the combine footage, rewatching all the film that I watched in January and February, trying to find a way to objectively look at all this without any bias from my previous analysis, to try and determine if anything has changed in my mind. Did Wilson move up or down? Did Lawrence move up or down? How do I feel about Lance, Fields, and Mack, the 3 QBs most likely to go number 3 overall to the 49ers? One player stood out more than they did the last time, and I'm going to break it down right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm Smitty. Take a lap. Spoiler alert, this is my order. Trevor Lawrence is the #1 quarterback heading into this 2021 NFL draft class. He's the real deal. He's the next Peyton Manning. But does that mean that Zach Wilson can't be as good? I broke down the film
Like a madman last night.
I rewatched every single combine. The damn date in the corner is wrong again. It's the 18th. I rewatched all the footage from the combine, all of it, every single play. I watched video after video on both Lawrence and Wilson last night to try and figure out if I could separate them somehow, even if it meant Wilson going ahead of Lawrence or Lawrence separating away from Wilson, and I couldn't draw them that far apart. They are both top 5 bound, in my opinion, in fantasy football, in NFL football, real life football. Top 5 bound. I know we got Mahomes. I know we got Josh Allen. I know we got Herbert and Kyler, but really after those 4, when you're talking about dynasty fantasy football or NFL, Rodgers is getting older. Russell Wilson, I like him in fantasy at the value, but he's inconsistent. I would not put Russell Wilson in the same category as Wilson or Lawrence for dynasty quarterback rankings. And while I like Dak, I like Lamar, I like Jalen Hurts, I feel like Lawrence and Wilson both have a higher ceiling than all those guys. I think it's Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, and after that, it's a mixed bag between Kyler, Burrow, Lawrence, and Wilson. And you can throw Dak in there. You can throw Hurts in there. I think Dak and Hurts have cups of coffee with that range, but on the bottom end of it, I like Dak. I do. The offense is going to be lit. Dak will be a top 5 to 7 quarterback per year as long as he stays healthy. Lamar Jackson will be a top 4 to 8 quarterback per season as long as he stays healthy, but he's a running quarterback. We saw him fail last year. People gave up on him, and he rebounded and revived his fantasy football career.
Mid-season.
And now everybody's shocked when you tell them, oh, I don't know if I have Lamar in my top 5. They're like,
what are you talking about?
The same people that almost wanted to trade him away for a ham sandwich in the middle of the year. He runs a ton. He will get hurt. Longevity is not something you can bank on when it comes to a running quarterback to the degree that Lamar runs the football. And don't get me started on Watson. We don't know when Watson will return, if he ever returns again. Zach Wilson and Lawrence deserve to be in the conversation of 4 to 6 overall in fantasy football for Dynasty, not redraft. We're not talking redraft here. Your mom plays redraft. We play Dynasty and redraft, bro. And we're sitting here in April 18th, buddy. I hit the redraft content all the way through the offseason, so we can touch on that, but I am hitting this from a dynasty perspective here in April too. And from a dynasty angle, Wilson and Lawrence need to be considered in the top 4 to 6. The thing that stood out most to me while watching hours upon hours of Zach Wilson footage last night was how amazing he is both inside the pocket and outside the pocket. How amazing his quick release is, how quick his hands are, the laser beam this guy can throw from anywhere on the field, the crazy angles this guy can throw from to keep a play alive, and throw better in a weird, awkward angle or position or on the run than most of the quarterbacks in this draft class can throw flat-footed. And it's not like he needs to correct it. This is like Patrick Mahomes magical type stuff. I'm not calling him Pat Mahomes yet, please don't go there, but there are a lot of similarities between these two quarterbacks. And some of the attributes that we see in Mahomes now that I'm comparing Zach Wilson to, Mahomes didn't show a lot of them yet, at least to a certain degree, until he was in the NFL. Wilson's showing some of these traits and attributes now, coming from college football into the NFL. He's more pro ready, more capable of that magic that Mahomes now has coming out of college than Patrick Mahomes was. He's more plug and play ready. He's NFL ready. Lawrence and Wilson are 100% ready to go out of the box to lead an NFL team into a winning record type season. Am I saying that Fields, Mack, or Lance can't succeed, have a winning record, maybe even win a playoff game in a 49er uniform? The 49ers roster is so loaded and so solid. Any one of the five could probably step in and be very, very efficient because they don't need the quarterback to do a ton as a rookie. They can win games on the ground with the defense, especially Trey Lance, who I think would be the most electric of the three in green here that are likely to fall to the 49ers. He's the most equipped to handle out of the box, ready to go type of season because of the running aspect that he brings to the table. He's going to run a ton. He's going to pass enough. He's going to be accurate enough with the safety nets of Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, a run game, top 5 offensive line, very, very good defense. The QB in green that falls to the 49ers is probably going to do pretty well in 2021 as a rookie. But that isn't to say that if Lawrence or Wilson landed in San Fran, they wouldn't do a whole lot better. And let's say you peg the Niners to win 1 or 2 championships in the next 12 years with one of the quarterbacks, Lance, Fields, or Mack. If Lawrence or Wilson fell into a Niners uniform on draft day, you'd win 1, 2, or maybe even 3 more championships in the next 12 to 15 years. That's the difference. 1 championship, 2 championships will suffice. You will be happy. Fields, Lance, or Mack will do well. They will game manage. They could produce top 7 to 10 fantasy quarterback numbers. You could get a Jalen Hurts out of Trey Lance. That's a very good quarterback. It's not 1 to 5, but it's 6 to 10. Lance would thrive. Lance would do well. You would win at least 1 or 2 championships in the next decade. That's a good run. But I'm just saying, if I was running things, I'd be offering multiple first-round picks to move that 3 up to get Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson because they are different. They're on a whole new level. Zach Wilson is top 5 ready in San Fran. In New York is a little bit different type of situation. I like New York long-term for Zach Wilson. I think he turns things around pretty quickly in New York. I like Denzel Mims. They could draft a running back. What if they get Etienne or Najee Harris? They could draft a lineman in the 2nd round. They could address O-line with the 2nd first-round pick that they have. So they go Wilson, O-line, maybe Javonte Williams in the 2nd round. If the Jets walked out of the 2021 NFL draft going Zach Wilson, O-line, Javonte Williams, give me 1 to 3 years and this team is on the map. To the degree that the Buffalo Bills are now on the map and went from rags to riches in a short period of time. That's what we're looking at here with New York. Even if they don't go running back and they go Wilson defense O-line or Wilson O-line defense, I still think that could happen. You could find a Chuba Hubbard later, a very underrated running back, to get into that New York starting lineup and address O-line and defense. This team is going to turn it around so quickly under the command of Zach Wilson, I have no doubt. And Denzel Mims, I hope, becomes the player I thought he could be coming out of college, entering his rookie year. Kind of a forgotten man, black hole of a situation. I didn't love the situation when he landed there. I had him ranked in my top 3 wide receivers overall until the landing spots were handed out. So I love Denzel Mims with Zach Wilson tossing him the rock. But he might have a 1 to 3 year window of time that he needs to grow, and the offense can get better and better and better. But I do believe right out of the gate with Salah, that new coaching staff, that's been, from what I hear, given more authority to make the decisions and draft selections on draft day. Something I feel Salah probably packaged into the deal when he wanted to become the New York Jet football quarterback. He probably said, give me control. And for the first time in a long, long time, the Jets will turn it around. And it's because of that. Now, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville will do well. And every indication is that the Jags are going Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer, very, very invested in this quarterback. Urban Meyer showing during his pro day, it was no secret. He was like literally corralled around Trevor Lawrence, watching every throw, trying to get the closest access he could to him because of COVID and wanting to get the most out of that pro day, the most out of that only in-person opportunity he'd have. It was clear as day. Rewatching a lot of the combine footage reminded me of that Trevor Lawrence is going 1. I believe Zach Wilson deserves to go 1 as much as Lawrence, but Lawrence is probably going 1, and he's going to do well. He's going to revive DJ Chark or turn Laviska Shenault into a very, very big breakout candidate in 2021. But it would not shock me at all if DJ Chark, a guy we all in the industry-wide, had this guy as a low-end wide receiver 1 walking into 2019. What happened? He didn't get the football on a consistent basis is what happened. But Chark, I think, probably still has that sneaky good wide receiver 1 appeal. And Lawrence loves to throw to that type of wide receiver. He did it in college. Dial up Chark for a huge bounce back year in 2021 and maybe a really, really long lasting, awesome career, something we all kind of thought was coming heading into 2020. But people quickly forget. People quickly say, nope, you failed me once. You're gone. You're gone to me. Don't discount Chark in fantasy football going forward, and buy low in Dynasty because he's worth the risk. And as for Trevor Lawrence's skill set, this dude can throw from anywhere on the field. The dude commands the offense. He's got the cadence. He's got the swagger, which is important. And Zach Wilson's got that too. These two guys have the swagger and the confidence to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. And it is actually pretty important. As a quarterback grows and develops, they need that confidence. And both of these guys, they command it. They are field generals from day one. And when I look at both of these guys, I feel Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers in the making for both of them. Trevor Lawrence is a very different quarterback than Zach Wilson. Again, Zach Wilson feels very much Mahomes-like. Trevor Lawrence feels a little bit more Peyton Manning-like. But if we're going Dynasty quarterback rankings, I'm going to go number 1, Mahomes. Number 2 is going to be Allen. Number 3, Herbert. Number 4, I badly want to put Burrow here. I badly want to put Lawrence here. I very badly want to put Wilson here. Zach Wilson. And again, Kyler is deserving here as well. If we put Kyler here, then this is where, for me, I put the Law Dog Lawrence and Wilson, and that is Zach Wilson, not Russell Wilson. That is Zach Wilson. And I understand if you want to put Dak in this mix. I understand it, but Wilson and Law Dog are my number 5 quarterback in fantasy football dynasty. You can chew on it all you want. You can get mad all you want, but that's how I see it. I'm not changing for nobody, and I feel damn confident about it. And quarterbacks are my wheelhouse. I do good with running back and wide receiver and tight end breakout predictions, but if there's one thing I miss on a lot less when I predict bold predictions, it's quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, number 1 on my overall bold predictions heading into 2018, when people didn't even have him in the top 12, 13, 14 rounds in fantasy football. This is when Alex Smith was still anointed the starter. They hadn't even got rid of Alex Smith yet, but Mahomes was my number 1 overall bold prediction. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen. 2 years ago as a rookie, I called him a top 4 quarterback and got laughed out of rooms for it. Even after a stellar rushing season, rookie year, people are like, no, he can't throw. He's not accurate. Now he's number 2 in Dynasty, baby. Quarterbacks are my wheelhouse, and I'm telling you right now, let me go back and show you these 2 guys, Law Dog and Wilson, Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. They have the makings of the same kind of talent level all up in here. These guys can be anywhere in the mix. It's not just 5 and 6. They're 1 to 5. They're capable of top 1 to 5. I love Wilson. I love Law Dog.
Don't get me started.
To wrap up on Lance, Fields, and Mac, I don't know that I hate Mac as much as many other people do. In San Fran, he'll do okay. In other places, he might fail. I don't feel that way about Lawrence. I don't feel that way about Wilson. But with these three quarterbacks, landing spot matters because they're not as good. They will be situation dependent. But like I've said all show long, whichever one lands in San Fran will be top 10 fantasy capable within 1 calendar year. I hope it's Lance because he's so dynamic on the ground and he fits that Niner system better than Fields and Mac in my opinion. Fields worries me watching some of the pro day stuff back and some of the footage. The one knock on him that a lot of people repeat and talk about a lot is that he goes to his first read a lot. He locks onto his first read. You can find games where he does. You can find games where he doesn't. And the knock that no Ohio State quarterback has ever done well, I don't like that argument on its face, that because no other Ohio State quarterback has ever done well, that he can't. Well, you know who didn't produce quarterbacks ever until they did? Hill Valley Grocery Store that Kurt Warner graduated from at the age of 27. I don't know if that's what it's called. The Hill Valley Grocery Store said, "Hey Kurt, we don't typically produce top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL and really arguably the #1 fantasy football quarterback ever. We don't typically produce that kind of output, but if you give us a shot, Kurt, I think if you stay with us until about the age of 27, we can send you off into the NFL and you can dominate fantasy football in the NFL for a decade." Does it sound good? It doesn't matter what team you play for, but the one thing you could say that you draw a correlation between when it comes to Ohio State quarterbacks not translating is the type of football and reads they play. Maybe that they don't exercise the entire route tree, and with the case of Fields, he locks onto that first read often. Also watching some of the film, it became evident that there were times where he didn't trust the read, so knowing when to pull the trigger was sometimes a problem for him, and that caused him to hold onto the football, and then he got sacked. He can scramble and run really well, which will bode well for the Niners, but I think Trey Lance is going to be much better at running the football. You can design a whole playbook for Lance to run the football. So whoever ends up in San Fran will do well. I think Lance will perform better. I don't think he's a project. I think he can throw as good as Fields. I think he can make every throw that Fields can make, and Mac. I think judging him off of a very short amount of games is not fair. Burrow didn't play a whole heck of a long time at the college level. I know his competition was less than compared to Fields, but then again, Fields had more weapons. Fields had 4, 5, 6, 7 dump-offs per game that helped his completion percentage. You could play this game all day long. Better competition, better talent. Lance picked up and ran too much. He had less talent. He also had 0 interceptions. So how bad of a pocket decision maker can you be if you pick up and run too much when you have 0 interceptions to show for? Clearly picking up and running was a good move for him time and time again, and he won't need to do that as much in a Niner uniform because of all the weapons he's going to be gifted. He looks effortless when he throws the football. I'm talking about Lance. He's got a cannon of an arm, and the confidence that he has is fantastic. Fields, I feel like he's his coach even said a little more internal with his frustrations and his feelings, and he can work on that, but I'm just trying to give you all the little things that I noticed when I rewatch film. And I feel like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, they command on offense. They have the swagger. They look like that guy, that Peyton Manning field general. And Fields can get there. Lance can get there. Maybe it's Mac in that Niner offense. But the other location I see like Lance going, let's say Fields goes number 3. Where could Lance or Mac Jones go? Denver. Denver would be the next best quarterback situation I can think of, and a team most likely to trade up to get either Lance or Mac Jones, and I wouldn't mind it at all. And get ready for all the Jerry Jeudy,
Oh, I believe in Jerry Jeudy now,
people to come out of the woodwork. I'm telling you right now, go get Jerry Jeudy before his value climbs. Jerry Jeudy, overshadowed by the other rookies, has top 12 wide receiver appeal. In Dynasty, I love him. And once he gets a quarterback, and he eventually will, and it could be in this NFL draft, Jerry Jeudy climbs up ADP-wise as fast as anybody. So go get Jerry Jeudy and do it now. Buy at a low entry point. That is the point of all of this. Do not come to me and say, Smitty, I traded a wide receiver 2 for him, or I gave up the 1.5 for Jerry Jeudy.
You better be right about Jerry Jeudy,
or you're going to take a lap, Smitty, because
you told me
he's going to be a top 12 wide receiver. Don't come to me and do that. I'm telling you, buy low. Buy low because people doubt the hell out of him right now. And Jerry Jeudy to the moon. Trevor Lawrence to the moon. Zach Wilson to the moon.
The doggy coin to the moon.
And Jerry Jeudy. These are the lessons of today. Take them and run with them. And text me. Text me at heysmitty.com. I've helped so many people this week, last week, the week before, help better their teams, cook up good trades. It's all at heysmitty.com. You and I can text on demand. Just go to heysmitty.com. And don't forget to join me every Tuesday and Thursday here on the channel. I'm live from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern every single Tuesday and Thursday. The Fantasy Football Show Live, your one-stop shop for fantasy football information and NFL news during the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays during your drive home. 3 hours of football in a row during your drive home or while you're still working. The Fantasy Football Show Live. Don't miss it every Tuesday and Thursday. Let's go.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm Smitty.